storytelling was where I came from. You know, I couldn't kick a football. I was very bad at sports. So, you know, I wasn't going to play AFL, obviously, you know. So I had to recognise that and find a new outlet. And storytelling was, for me, the outlet. You know, everybody can tell a story.
Can you talk for me? Good, thank you.
Is that okay?
Yeah, no, I just put some toilet paper over that little bit, just knock the paper. Okay, Gracie? The most important way to collaborate is to surround yourself with people that you love, who are beautiful human beings. I don't care if they're a genius cameraman, if they're annoying to be around. Well, they shouldn't really, you know, you shouldn't be with them in a sense. You've got to surround yourself with people that you love and you want to be with, and then the collaborations will happen. And they will give and you will give, and that's how you create those beautiful partnerships. Mother Courage is... The initial idea came from Breck's Mother Courage and Her Children, which is a theatre piece written by a wonderful man quite a long time ago. And after reading the play and seeing a documentary about Meryl Streep, you know, doing the play in New York, it just opened up a whole world to me. And there was this amazing sort of connection to sort of Indigenous, you know, Aboriginal people in Central Australia and that sort of nomadic life. So I created this van, and this old Aboriginal woman who's going from Biennale to Biennale selling her wares, just like Breck's Mother Courage does, going from war to war, selling pots and pans and bullets and pieces of meat to the soldiers. She's kind of been forced out of her community and forced out of her art centre. Her art centre has been closed down. Her community is on the brink of sort of implosion in a sense, and she's found this sort of weird self-determination to be out, just to get out there and do it for herself. Almost, you know, she's not on her country, but she's still painting her country. She still has that connection through her art to where she comes from.
I think it's about 6:10 on Country Radio. Kenny here with the Greenbush Show, taking you through the night, with all your requests going out to all our mob doing time in prison. So give us a call if you got any requests or any messages you want to send out to your friends and relatives in jail. Now here's a big cheerio from all the men in Block 4.
When I was 14, I started as a DJ at a place called Central Australian Aboriginal Media Association, or CAMA. It was the early 80s, and you know, we're talking a lot of communities didn't, you know, there was one phone box, and a lot of people can't write, so the radio station almost became like a billboard for information about what's going on, who's had babies, who's going to jail, who's getting out of jail, all these kind of wonderful. It became rather than it just being playing music and advertising like normal radio, Aboriginal people reinvented what radio was about, and it was more, you know, it became almost like a telephone, an open telephone line for communities and for people to inform and to educate in a sense, which is, you know, which is what radio, I think, should be about. Oh, turn him up, brother, turn him up. Turn him up and drum along. You know, the young boy sitting in the van, you know, his connection is through this radio show. It's almost like, you know, the soundtrack is the dialogue to the piece. You know, you can either dance to it or you can listen to the lyrics, or, you know, block your ears if you don't like it that much. But it kind of, all of those connections to country are actually in the van rather than on the outside of the van. You know, it's sort of like a little piece of Central Australia, you know, in Melbourne. When we were in Europe with Mother Courage, and she would travel around the dOCUMENTA, I would tell everybody that she wasn't invited there. She wasn't actually allowed to be there. You know, she's annoying, she's a nuisance. She's parking out the front of these great Picasso exhibitions, these queues, and she's playing loud music and trying to sell these dot paintings that some would presume not very good. You know what I mean?
You're listening to Country Radio, Aboriginal radio in Aboriginal country.
Every film I do, there's sort of a female homage, and grandmothers are always the cheeky ratbags who grow old disgracefully, like we all want to, you know. And I kind of love them. They're sort of politically incorrect. They do what they want, they say what they think, you know, all that kind of stuff. They're always great characters. You try and do it with all storytelling. You just don't want to bash people over the head with your information or your answers. You just want to create questions in the audience's mind and respect the audience and treat them intelligently, that they will find their own meanings, in a sense. When I make something for ACMI or I make something for a gallery, it's not about money. It's about storytelling, pure creativity and emotion, you know, and that for me is a freedom. And you know, it takes me 4 years from an idea to writing a script, to financing it, to making it, for it to actually be in the cinema. I can have an idea today, and tomorrow I can make it for a gallery, you know, for a gallery. In a sense, it's inspiring to me. It's a whole new world to me. You know, 20 years of cinema, the journey that I'm on at the moment is so beautiful.